Good evening and welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. It's me, Micheal Lukomwa. We'll start with a look at the top stories. President Museveni arrives in Kigali for the Commonwealth Head of Government meetings. BioNTech to construct mRNA vaccine manufacturing facility in Africa. MPs threaten to recall Parliament over the arts teachers' strike, while 5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to expire in September this year. UBC News Tonight, welcome aboard. President Museveni has today arrived in Rwanda's capital Kigali for a 4-day working visit, during which he will join other heads of state for the ongoing Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, commonly known as CHOGM. The meeting is being held under the theme, Delivering a Common Future, Connecting, Innovating, Transforming. Museveni, who traveled by road from Uganda, was received at the Gatuna one-stop border post by the Minister of Infrastructure of the Republic of Rwanda, Engineer Ernest Nsabimana, Uganda's High Commissioner to Rwanda, His Excellency Major General Robert Rusoke, Governor of Northern Province, Daniel Nyirarugero, and Mayor of Gicumbi, Emmanuel Nzabonimpa, among other top officials in the Kigali government. The President is due to attend the Commonwealth Business Forum Heads of Government and Business Leaders Roundtable at the Intare Conference Arena. Later, he will host various bilateral meetings at his residency. Leaders will meet every 2 years. Leaders of in the Commonwealth meet every 2 years for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, hosted by different member countries on the rotating basis. Since 1971, a total of 24 meetings have been held, including in Uganda in 2007, hosted by President Museveni, with the most recent being in the UK in 2018. CHOGM, currently going on and hosted by Paul Kagame, President of Rwanda, was due to take place in June 2020 but postponed twice due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Commonwealth Head of Government meeting of 2022 is now taking place in Kigali. The official opening of CHOGM will take place on Friday the 24th of June and will be followed by the main high-level meetings of heads of state on Friday the 24th and Saturday the 25th of June. They are preceded by 4 forums, ministerial meetings, side events and other activities. Now, BioNTech, one of the leading vaccine manufacturing companies in the world, has launched construction works for the initial African mRNA manufacturing facility in Kigali, Rwanda. The site is touted to become a node in a decentralized and robust African end-to-end manufacturing network, and all vaccines manufactured will be dedicated to people residing in member states of the African Union. The groundbreaking event of the sidelines of the CHOGM summit was graced by Rwanda's President Paul Kagame.
Today, at the sidelines of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Kigali, Rwanda, BioNTech, a biopharmaceutical company, has launched construction works at the first mRNA vaccine plant in Africa.
A gift to Africa, the first shovel of earth to be moved for Africa's first mRNA vaccine manufacturing site. Big congratulations.
The facility, sitting on about 30,000 square meters, will be equipped to manufacture vaccines to the needs of African Union member states. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame described this latest development as a pivotal moment in boosting Africa's capacity.
This ceremony is a result of the African Union's decision last year to take action on vaccine inequality. Chairperson of the African Union Commission, I thank you for your tireless effort to make this happen. This facility is one of 3 identical sites planned by BioNTech, in line with the strategy, including Senegal and South Africa. So here a big thank you to everyone who a critical role in getting us to this point.
The same views were shared by other speakers at the event.
The Partnership for African Vaccine Manufacturing, launched by the African Union in 2021, set Africa on a course to end our continent's dependence on imported vaccines. This was done not only in the urgent context of the COVID-19 pandemic, where Africa was once again last in line, but also alongside the establishment of key continental initiatives and institutions in the recent year.
This groundbreaking for this new manufacturing facility is so important. The best way to deal with inequity is to put the tools in the hands of those who need them the most. I'm grateful to the countries and multilateral organizations that have supported this effort, especially the African Union and the European Union.
Closing the business forum, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson took note of the current harsh economic times, but he was, however, optimistic that the Commonwealth countries will steer steadily and dock at the station as a unit.
So now is the time, my friends, to turbocharge those advantages, because over the next 5 years, the Commonwealth's total GDP is forecast to rise by nearly 50% to $19.5 trillion. And these are the markets, super fertilized markets that will power growth and prosperity and create jobs in our countries, and at the same time help to ease those pressures that we all face on the costs of living. It's going to be the biggest in the world. The biggest in the world. 1.3 billion people, promising to lift 30 million people out of poverty and generate $450 billion for African nations, which, by the way, is far, far, far more than Africa could ever receive in development aid. Our wonderful, wonderful Commonwealth, that great institution, has the super fertilizer to be sprinkled across this extraordinary grouping of countries, and above all, to help to forge a new Africa.
The Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting will be open tomorrow, and leaders are expected to agree on common actions and decisions that will improve the lives of the citizens in the Commonwealth nations. Samuel Senono, UBC News in Kigali, Rwanda.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has launched the survey and titling exercise of government land purchases from absentee landlords in Bunyoro sub-region. Government has so far purchased a total of 272 square miles from the absentee landlords in the lost counties of Buyaga, Bugangaizi and Buyanja. The Prime Minister, while appreciating efforts taken by the Land Ministry, questioned why it had taken this long to start the survey exercise and titling of this land. She cautioned the survey team to be transparent as they undertake the survey exercise. She also equally called on the residents to cooperate and avoid fights.
100%. Let you come down here and, how much does it need for you to come here and demarcate this land survey? How much does it need? Is it a lot of money? Is it more than what we used to buy these titles? Now that I'm a Prime Minister of this country, we shall do all that it takes. I will even involve the President so that we solve this problem once and for all.
Systematic land demarcation, I think that one is going to help a lot, because when one has got a land title, he can easily access a loan. When one has got a land title, he feels very comfortable. He feels that he is the owner of that area, of that land. Unlike when you are just there in doubt because of what we are hearing, so and so has come, he has sold the land to somebody else. So you get away because the land has been sold to someone else. So I think that one is going to help a lot.
Iwe wawe na kapikipiki kakulemere. Bati omwana iba wawe aina ne motoka. Ekikumanyisa ensobi eri wawe. Tuli hamu. Ate ensobi bwerabe bayiro wabo bano yanga kukora. Habokuba kutina eitaka tinyina itaka bajja kutubinga ate itaka taro wachi ababingo mu itaka taro. Ekyekwaso kikozireki ati tukubasaba ebintu bisatu mulekerawo politics eyenganda kakumiro hano mubireke byo nabanja munyoro banu bakiga banyabiki mubireke ito tukwenda milimo abantu batu bakole ki oboli mukiga oboli munyarwanda oboli ki mukabayire hano mukabanja kawe bakusalire wakawe oyotereze so mukujuke 2029 twali tulina minister ali hano.
Government is yet to consider a report by the task force on the study of the encroachment on the Kinawataka wetland, which has for long been disputed. The Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakoba, cites missing gaps in the report, including how land titles were issued to some people in the wetlands. Over 10,000 people face eviction from the Kinawataka wetland coverage.
The wetland coverage of 11.9 square kilometers stretching from Naguru towards Kinawataka to Lake Victoria has since witnessed over 10,000 people encroaching within the swamp.
How can thousands and thousands build houses, settle in wetlands, in forests, other protected areas without physical development plans? Where were our planners, our friends, where were you?
The Kinawataka wetland is among the 5 major places absorbing drainage from the raised hills of Kampala suburbs.
We find that the initial people encroaching on that land starts in 2014. Before that, that place was vacant, was doing all its purposes.
The recent task force involving officials from relevant authorities who carried out a study on the encroachment on the Kinawataka wetland has finalized its report with a recommendation seeking for 1.5 billion to enable forceful evictions take its course.
There you'll find the structures mainly are new and people are getting cheap land. They just go there, connive with people. They are buying an acre at 200, at 400.
The report cites 50% of encroachers in possession of land titles on the wetland and some huge investments in the wetland. However, the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakoba, poked holes in the findings which leave out names of high-profile people owning factories in the area and how those with the land titles acquired them.
Where the procedures followed, we need to look at that and probably name and shame, if need be, prosecute those who were behind.
The journey to restore Kinawataka wetland has for long remained a vicious circle. Minister Judith Nabakoba wants all concerned institutions to coordinate and have a cemented approach. Meanwhile, evictions have already started and in advanced stages.
Why is our environment getting continuously abused when we have all institutions in place? Are we not coordinated? Is it issues of bureaucracy? So I think we need to do also a self-examination about what is causing this failure.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
A section of members of parliament that have there is a section of members of parliament who have backed arts teachers with their ongoing strike, wondering why government resolved to threaten them instead of handling their matter amicably. They have asked government to avail funds through a supplementary budget request to improve the pay of these teachers, as it was done for the science teachers.
The arts teachers' strike followed a government decision to increase the salaries of science teachers to a tune of 300%, leaving them out. More than 120,000 teachers laid down their tools in protest of what they termed as discriminatory enhancement, as negotiations to put the matter to seem to have hit a snag, with government now issuing threatening statements to the teachers to return to their workstations or risk to be scrapped on the government payroll. Now, a section of members of parliament have weighed in to support the teachers' industrial action, questioning why government would issue such threatening statements other than opting for a round table.
The write-up or the writing that has been sent, that document, is illegal, it is wrongful, it is illogical, felonious, and everything you can think about illegalities. It's even illegitimate.
To know that the teachers are doing badly, especially the arts teachers, most of them are engaged in border business to try to raise an income. So it was wise for the government, when they're trying to consider the salary for the science teachers, they should have equally thought of the arts teachers.
The Trade Unions Act and other laws, that what the teachers are doing is legal, is legitimate. And we want to encourage the teachers to continue with their legitimate demands.
This strike has entered day 9, with these teachers carrying forward the same script regardless of what they call threats and intimidation from government. Now the concerned legislators have threatened to recall the House from recess and cause a supplementary budget should government fail to harmonize with the striking teachers amicably.
This matter is very important. From here, let us begin. We recall Parliament and discuss about this matter comprehensively.
Science is very critical, but at the same time, we also need arts.
But the issue is, there is what we call subject integration. You cannot teach sciences without the use of the humanities. That's why even in A-level, even those doing biology, physics, PCB, we are doing general paper.
They say what the teachers are doing is legal and government ought to support them.
Now, the teachers are invoking their constitutional rights, particularly Article 29 and Article 40, to demand for what is legitimate.
Shamim Naiga and Gloria Gutabenje, Parliament.
Yes, those are some MPs giving their view about the teacher strike. But contrary to that, the situation from many parts of the country indicates that schools are operating normally. Just this afternoon, on the sidelines of the Prime Minister's Parish Development Model meetings in Bunyoro sub-region, the Right Honourable Robin Nabanja visited through secondary schools to ascertain the status. While at Kigali, she found over 2,000 students and over 20 teachers operating normally. The teachers informed her that they could not join what they called an unpatriotic industrial actions.
For what they are doing, how many teachers do you have?
The M23 rebels have vowed not to vacate the captured towns in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, even with the deployment of the East African Standby Brigade as planned. The spokesperson of the rebel group, Major Willie Ngoma, says that the standby force should instead go to the DRC and join them in the pacification of the Eastern Republic, of the eastern part of the DRC, since their agenda is about peace and security. As Philip Aguta reports from Bunagana, Major Willie Ngoma, however, assured the people of Bunagana of safety and urged the refugees to return and carry on their normal lives.
It's coming to 2 weeks since the M23 rebels overran the armed forces of the Democratic Republic of Congo at Bunagana town and took control of the entire area. Days later, the East African Community Heads of States in a joint meeting agreed to deploy the East African Standby Force Brigade to reclaim Bunagana town and other towns under occupation and the control of the rebel force. However, in an interview with the M23 rebel spokesperson, Major Willy Ngoma, at his office in Bunagana, he said they are not scared of the proposed deployment of the East African Standby Brigade and they will not vacate the occupied towns.
Sisi hatuwezi kimbia, sisi ni Wakongomani. Tuko ndani ya Kongo, nchi yetu Kongo. Mimi sidhani watakuja pigana na M23. Hapana. Kama wanakuja pigana, sisi M23 tunapigania haki zetu. Sisi hatuko kikundi inaua watu. Rais President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni anajua discipline yetu vizuri sana.
Major Ngoma appealed to the East African Standby Brigade leadership to join them in keeping peace and security in Eastern DRC, following the alleged negligence of the Kinshasa government to offer effective leadership and services to the people.
Okay. Sisi watu warudi, sisi tunapenda watu warudi nyumba yao. East African Community aiseme haikuje pigana na M23. Hawakusema wanakuja tufukuza ndani ya eneo, hapana. Watakuja tafuta amani juu ya Wakongomani na sisi tunapenda hiyo amani, tunataka hiyo amani. Raia yetu iishi ndani ya amani. Watu wasikuwe na wasiwasi. East African Community iwezi kuwa tupiga sisi. Hapana, hapana, hapana. Watakuja tafuta amani, tutatafuta amani sisi wote juu ya Kongo, juu ya Wakongomani. Watu wakuwe na wasiwasi.
Major Ngoma, however, assured the displaced people who ran to Uganda to return home and continue with the business since they have opened the border with Uganda at Bunagana.
Tunaomba wa refugee yote biko Kisoro, biko Bunagana, biko na makempi hii warudi kwao nyumbani. Sababu masomo iko masiku kunapita ya watoto warudi shuleni. Tunapenda watoto wakuje waanze masomo, waanze soma. Wakuje wasikuwe na wasiwasi. Hakuna mtu hawezi kuja kutushambulia hapa. Tunapenda amani. Wakuje amani iko, watoto waendelee masomo. Na tunaomba na government ya Kongo ikuwe government ikuwe serious. Ikuwe serious, sisi tunapenda mazungumzo. Na community international tunasema sisi tunapenda mazungumzo. Tuko tayari, hatupendi vita. Tunapenda mazungumzo.
Major Ngoma also underplayed the directive by the military governor of the North Kivu province, Lieutenant General Constant Ndima, that banned goods from passing through Bunagana border.
Gisi General Constant Ndima alisema, aliandika, M23 tunashangaa sana hiyo maneno. Sababu gani? Sisi unaona Eastern ya Kongo, kila kitu inatoka Uganda. Unaona hii hata piece of chalk hii inatoka Uganda. Chakula inatoka Uganda. Kama yeye anasema hii iko na production gani? Iko na vitu gani, anategemea wale Wakongomani wengine watauza hiyo vitu wapi? Transport ya vitu itapanda na eneo watapenda wazunguruke, waende Ishasha, waende sehemu zingine ya Kasindi, au waende Ariwara, juu chakula ipita njia gani watapitisha. Hiyo yote ni vitu mbaya sana. Government ya Kongo haipendi kabisa raia yake.
With every party claiming superiority over the other in Bunagana town, time will tell when boys are differentiated from men. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Bunagana town.
Ministry of Health has embarked on another accelerated mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign codenamed Mop-Up Round with the aim to reach out to more unvaccinated people. The campaign that ends in July this year will partly contribute to serving the 5 million doses of COVID-19 different vaccines that may expire if not used soon.
Received 47,234,000 doses of different types of COVID-19 vaccines. However, 5 million doses of these different vaccines are at the verge of expiry if they are not utilized by September this year.
So in terms of vaccines, we have vaccines which are likely to expire, which are at risk of expiring, almost 5 million doses by end of September. So there are those which will expire, which we need to use before the month ends. There are those which we'll need to use before end of September. So those are the vaccines we say are at risk of expiry, so we need to use them. The rest of the vaccines we have in the country have expiry dates. In October 2023, we still have almost a full year.
The population has therefore been encouraged to embrace COVID-19 vaccination exercise to avoid wastage of the vaccines.
Vaccines are being rolled out, so we have started our phase of accelerated mass campaigns for vaccination, round 3. This round is unique because it's called a mop-up round. As I told you, the vulnerable people we need to reach, and also to be able to reach people to get their second dose.
In the same line, the country is expecting more 10.6 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines in the next 3 months. But why more vaccines if the ones available have not been utilized?
You see, we have 40 million Ugandans, and I've told you we've received 47 million doses. If you divide that by 2 for the 2 doses, those are not even enough to go through the whole country population. What we've received can only cover 31 million doses, and without having boosters. And now the disease requires that we do boosters after 6 months, especially in the highly vulnerable people. We have already told the health workers to come for boosters because they are now going to see numbers rise and patients will go to the hospitals, and we want to preserve our healthcare service. So the vaccines we have are not enough.
The National Vaccination Commander at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Daniel Chabanze, confirms that 10.7 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines are at national medical stores, while 36 million doses are at the districts. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Police in Moroto has poured crude waraji worth 200 million shillings. Alcohol has been pointed out as one of the factors fueling insecurity in the region. The ASTU Commandant Elias Kasirabo said they are to smoke out all waragi smugglers from Karamoja.
According to the latest Uganda Bureau of Statistics report, Karamoja was ranked #1 consumer of alcohol in the whole country. Security forces say alcohol has contributed a lot to the insecurity in the region.
Issues of related to people, someone dying as a result of fighting, mob justice, by shooting, in the whole country, we were number 2. That was Napak. That is as a result of shooting, which at times are accelerated by even alcohol. But in the whole total of homicide cases, where even people die when they have taken alcohol, Mount Moroto region was number 8 in the whole country.
Started this disarmament program, we realized that there is a positive relationship between alcohol and livestock crime. The warriors, the raiders, the thieves, they first take waraji to gain Dutch courage.
Because many people use it as food, the medical superintendent at St. Kizito Maternal Hospital, Dr. John Bosco Nsubuga, says many people are suffering from liver cirrhosis.
Patients since we started active in the clinic. So in a month, like the new hepatitis B cases, we get about 13 to 17 patients as new cases.
It's from this backdrop that police in Karamoja region has poured crude waraji worth over 200 million shillings.
This 1,107 were impounded from very many districts within our region, Moroto.
Ordinary jerrycans, we are multiplying it by 2, it's almost 40. It comes to almost, it is over 200 millions. This.
Security officers say they are to trace all routes of waraji in the region. However, people say there is need to review laws about waraji. The Commandant Areas Kasarabo and Moroto Diocese Catholic Bishop Damiano Gazette said there are alternative ways to use crude waraji.
Who are producing waraji It can be used in producing ethanol, in producing sanitizer. And you know the price of sanitizer is also high due to COVID prevalence in the country. The paraffin,
also for animal feeds, this is an area to be discovered. These animal feeds are very essential, very needed in our country. And they would make even more profit than what they can do by selling this stuff.
The community thanked religious leaders and security on the fight against alcoholism in the region. Crude oil is got from sugarcane residues in Jinja, where they don't consume it, but finds its market in Karamoja.
Ministry of Agriculture has given the Wera Catholic Parish of Amuria District an agricultural tractor in line with the ministry quest to mechanize the sector. Minister Frank Tumwebaze reiterated government's commitment to partnering with non-state actors with big chunks of land for economic transformation.
The Ministry of Agriculture committed to modify sectoral effectiveness from rudimentary to mechanization for significant output. Farmers operating at large scale are the main target of this mechanization exercise to improve country's balance of trade through export contribution.
As government, how would we entice people, how would we motivate people to put their big chunks of land into agricultural production? You motivate them, you subsidize their machinery needs. That's the small contribution we can give.
Church and other non-state actors are perceived to attract public appreciation, and the ministry binds to leverage on such institutions in this paradigm shift.
The religious groups have taken heed of the NRM manifesto. Archbishop Odama in Gulu, we're in partnership to produce cassava. And I think we've invested substantial budget money. So that's our strategy for agriculture.
Smallholder farmers are advised to appreciate parish development model and other government projects for upgrade.
So let nobody criticize us that by giving tractors to the big ones, we are forgetting the poor ones. The poor people or the Chida Chonka people, in this budget alone, 1.4 trillion has been pushed into parish development model for that category. Parish development model, if you are rich, don't go there. Because 1 million is the maximum.
The State Minister for Works, Musa Echweru, also the area legislator, commended the Agriculture Ministry for looking out and incorporate organized entities in Teso sub-region.
Why don't we support to expand his interventions using improved technology? And that's when you made a commitment that you will give a tractor probably to the farm that I showed you mine, and then a tractor to the priest, and then a support to Akutu.
The tractor is expected to benefit at least 28 farm associations in Wera Parish, Amuria District. The Catholic Parish has committed support to government schools in the provision of food to students.
Okay, thank you. And critically, we're looking at the issue of performance in our schools. And one of the issues we discovered was that the issue of feeding in school, which something that I personally benefited from.
The assurance of mechanizing agricultural sector in Uganda is expected to improve on the economy's performance in the region and beyond. Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
Today in history.
On this day in history, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was awarded an honorary doctorate by Hubert H. Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs of the University of Minnesota in the United States of America. This was in recognition of his role in the fight against abuse of human rights, democratization, and other fields.
Sanyuse nnyo essanyu lijula kunzita. MTN momo terimba nali ndi waka ngenda okuwulira essimu ezze nenga neera bino bye bya bulijjo ebyekifere kubanga mbeera awo omuntu n'ofuna essimu n'ogenda okuwulira oli atandise empaayo emitwalo 5 kakati kino MTN bwe yankubidde bo tebansabye ku ssente wedda banzikakkanya na bukkakkanyaze nga ntabuse ngamba mu buli baffere nze nandi wano pulesa zaagala kunkuba bukubi sinneebaka ku tulo ate ke mumpadde emmotoka mu byonoonye kati ate awo wiiki ndala MTN yeebale nnyo okutufaako fenga abeebulemeezi Luweero babalina waaka
ne MTN Momo nyabo teka kubutesa emitwalo 2 oba okusingawo ku MTN Mobile Money yo oyinza okuba na mukisa anewanguliremu ku Toyota Succeed 3 oba mukuba wangusa 2,000 buli weeki tugenda kugaba emmotoka 24 ne Mobile Money asoba mu buwumbi 2.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You say I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just self register.
What's going on here?
He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet, and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 hash, and now you are on. No waiting.
Huh?
This insanity is sweet. Give them also.
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
Not mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
UBC News Tonight. Thank you so much for watching. As the world grapples with air pollution, experts warn that the continued presence of used vehicles on the road is a big contributor to air pollution should the government not intervene. Currently, Kampala City is 5 times higher than the World Health Recommendation Index.
Experts warn that the amount of air pollution in Kampala is 6 times higher above the recommended World Health Organization index.
People just get waste, put them there and just burn. And when they burn, they create those persistent organic pollutants into the environment.
Kampala's annual level of air pollution currently stands at 150 micrograms per cubic meter, compared to the 25 micrograms per cubic meter of a particulate matter.
Here, when you look at particulate matter, which they say the PM 2.5, you'd find that WHO says on 24-hour average should be at 25 micrograms per meters cubed. Now, in Kampala, our levels are at about 150 that is a 24 hours. And yet, the normal should be 25. Our levels are 6 times what is recommended. Kampala is at 150, Beijing is at about 45. You'll find places in Switzerland about 21. So our air is really, really bad.
At least 300,000 Ugandans die of air pollution-related illness annually, according to research from World Health Organization, with the diseases ranging from heart disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung cancer, among others, with most fatalities in dusty communities, industrial and commercial centers. And this therefore means that air pollution kills more people annually compared to HIV/AIDS, diseases and death.
When you look at the figures that we have and the estimates, annually in Uganda about 31,000 people die due to air pollution-related illnesses. You can actually say air pollution is killing more people than HIV. It has been shown that repeated exposure to air pollution in children tends to affect cognitive development. So the children's brains do not develop as fast as they would, like any other child who is not exposed. But as I say, the other is also having respiratory diseases that will suffer from, and probably also lead to premature death. But the other one is the effect on the economy.
Kampala has the highest concentration levels of motor emissions. Kampala city dwellers are also concerned over the rising number of unroadworthy vehicles.
Cars are too many. The cars, you find like cars are they are not supposed to be on the road, but the government cannot regulate it. To me, my suggestion would be if they can at least reduce these cars which are not supposed to be on the road, and even like these motorcycles which are also on the road and they are bringing pollution and it affects people.
Uganda taxi operators also called for government sensitization on dangers of air pollution to the public.
Government ya Uganda okukendeeza air pollution kyetaagisa okukwata ku sectors zonna zibeere sensitized.
So nze nsuubira gavumenti era tukolera bukolezi nteekateeka engeri gye tusobola okukyukamu okuva ku motoka zino enkadde obula nga tudda ku motoka empya tujje nga tukyuka mpola.
Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Health Minister, also Lira City woman MP Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng has rallied Ugandans to stick to high-value crops and livestock enterprises in order to realize a better outcome from the much-anticipated parish development model. Acheng, who was sensitizing local leaders on the PDM in Lira City, discouraged the practice of land fragmentation, bush burning and cultivating wetlands. Eddie Olwa reports from Lira.
On Monday, all ministers were flagged off to return to their constituencies and regions to sensitize locals and leaders on the much-anticipated parish development model. The ministers are supposed to be joined by the constituency MPs of the district, although in Lira City, the MPs only sent apologies, and in Lira district, only the woman MP showed up.
And especially respond to questions that they may have regarding the parish development model. I want to say that the people of Lira City have embraced the parish development model and they are getting themselves prepared. Come July, they are ready to borrow and utilize the money.
Before responding to the most asked questions, Acheng asked farmers to desist from land fragmentation, bush burning and encroaching on wetlands. She rallied the beneficiaries to adhere to the high-value crops and livestock.
7 enterprises have been chosen, and this includes coffee, fish farming, horticulture, dairy, poultry, it includes piggery. So you are free to choose within whatever those 7 enterprises are what you would want to do within your 4 acres and less.
The parish development model was rolled out last year as a plan by NRM government to move the 39% of Ugandans out of poverty. Dickens Ogwangotime, a farmer of Ngeta in Lira City East Division, wants local government to support the initiative with stringent bylaws for better outcomes. He says after benefiting from OWC years ago, all his garden was destroyed by animals, and a repeat of the same could frustrate the current effort.
Wano meto tala ket bylaw ini guako Germany
Meanwhile, the chairperson Chamber of Commerce for Lira wants government to mitigate eventualities associated with farming.
If you talk about poultry has its own challenges. There are moments when poultry can have a loss of about 100%. Have we prepared ourselves for the worst case scenarios? I think we should put this in place so that those who take it on at least are cushioned in case of disasters.
The Parish development model is an initiative intended to usher 3.5 million households into the money economy. Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Uganda Cancer Institute, together with civil society organizations in the fight against cancer, are developing breast health care guidelines to address diseases which attack the breasts, especially cancer. This was communicated in a national summit held in Kampala, and the stakeholders are optimistic that with these guidelines there will be a decrease in cases of breast cancer and other diseases.
According to the research conducted by World Health Organization in 2020, 7.8 million women globally had breast cancer, with a recorded death over 680. In 2020, breast cancer deaths in Uganda reached at 1,128, making a percentage of 0.8%. With these statistics, experts base the increase on poor diet and lifestyle.
The more fat you eat, and the more high-calorie food you eat, and high-calorie food, I mean food that you cannot use, and burn completely and convert it into fat. And this is rice, this is posho, this is sweet potato, this is meat.
Dr. Mugisha Noreb from Uganda Cancer Institute says, although the cases of breast cancer are on increase, the issue of attaining proper medication and guidelines are key.
And because our patients come late, the survival rate for breast cancer in 5 years is now 51%. Now 51% is so dismal that you know that 49 of every 100 women that come to us, or men with breast cancer, will die in 5 years. That's not a good scenario to have and embrace.
Akelo Caroline, who has lived with cancer for now 2 years and is on medication from Uganda Cancer Institute, is a living testimony after following instructions and treatment from doctors.
So my advice to ladies out there, if you notice something in your breast, please do not take it lightly. It may or may not be something serious, but it's important to get to the root of it before it's too late.
But there are signs that will give you an indication that the breast is having issues. The nipples in a woman, when you are undressed, the nipple should come out clearly, whether you're a young woman or an old woman. But if the nipple retracts, pulls inside, then that's not a good sign that something must be inside, pulling it inside.
With the aim of addressing cancer, especially breast cancer, Uganda Cancer Institute, together with civil society organizations in the fight against cancer, are developing breast health care guidelines.
So the reason why we are developing these guidelines, we want to make it easy and possible for every Ugandan who has a breast condition to receive the right care from the right person.
Stakeholders are optimistic that with the developed guidelines, there will be a reduction in breast cancer cases in the country.
Doctors have developed guidelines in the past, and they only kept in clinics and they are kept in shelves. But we are trying to make a guideline that has a patient voice, that has an advocate on it.
The guidelines, which are now discussed by stakeholders for 3 months, will later be approved by Ministry of Health. Deborah Namamonde, Aisha Nakazi, UBC News.
Government has pledged to increase grants for researchers and innovators at high institutions of learning to help upscale development in the country. The commitment was made by the Vice President, retired Major Jessica Lupo, while represented by the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development at Kampala University Original's 19th graduation ceremony in Gaba.
Since its inception, numerous programs have been initiated at different levels to help provide up-to-date knowledge and basic skills to learners at Kampala University. And it is always ceremonious joy among scholars whenever they attain certain levels of academic excellence.
Kampala University!
It has been equally the same moments at Kampala University original main campus Gaba as the students chanted at their graduation. At the university's 19th graduation held at Gaba today, the Vice President retired Major Jessica Alupo in her maiden speech delivered by the Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development Judith Nabakoba pledged the government's commitment to increase grants for researchers at higher institutions of learning.
Government, we appreciate the role of universities in promoting socio-economic transformation and technological advancement much needed for the development of any society or country through undertaking research and innovation programs. As Government of Uganda, we have and continue to extend more grants to both private and public universities to boost research and innovation.
The Chancellor Kampala University, Professor George Mondo Kagonyera, earlier on appealed to government to empower innovators as well as give more support to private institutions.
We are aware that the government has started putting reasonable amounts of money in research. I would like to appeal to you to take it to the government that even in private universities we have scientists engaged in research, and therefore they ought to be supported.
The Vice Chancellor, also proprietor of Kampala University, Professor Badru Katerega, condemned the indiscipline and fraudulence of the administrators at Kampala College in Juba, to which he says he closed his works at the Juba campus years back.
Embarked on regularizing our operations by fulfilling all the necessary legal requirements. Despite our compliance with all requirements, the authorities in South Sudan either delayed or declined to formalize our registration and accreditation, whereupon Kampala University management took a painful decision.
Some of the day's 2,415 graduates attributed their success to God and advised the continuing students to value education.
Very happy and very expectant.
To inform all the youth active in the world through education. Education is something very big that can take us beyond us.
Let the Ministry of Education and the government at large balance the salary scheme for education system in Uganda.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC News.
Residents and refugees living in the West Nile district of Adjumani, northern Adjumani, have been lauded for harmonious living status quo leaders want to maintain. This was during a belated World Refugee Day celebrations at an event officiated by the Adjuman Resident District Commissioner, Peter Tabandada.
It was a walk for a reason, a march of hope, and a dance for harmony as refugees and host communities in the northern district of Adjumani commemorated World Refugee Day.
Are you ready? Coming on the stage.
In the minds of many was the fact that there is life after being a refugee.
The host community in this district
have
done a very tremendous job in our stay in this district. In fact, not only they have given us the land, but they have also accorded to us a peaceful coexistence.
To maintain the existing harmony between refugees and host communities, it will take acceptance of the fact that anyone can be a refugee.
Please prevent in Adjumani because of the host community.
Salam Jafi Tijata Jumani ma nas
Remember, there are limited resources that we share together, and normally conflicts comes in resource sharing. But with their hospitality, we are able to live in peace.
However, not all is well. The generosity might be there, and the hospitality might be visible, but the environment is at stake.
And this land they have given us is free of charge. And because it is free of charge, we should utilize it, especially where we are given.
Not much has been degraded because when these refugees came, the first thing district, OPM and the UNHCR came up with the sensitization of the refugees. And when we are settling these refugees, there are those key trees we marked that they should not be destroyed.
Uganda is currently the leading refugee hosting country in Africa, with about 1.6 living in various settlements across the country. United Nations High Commission for Refugees takes the lead in responding to the situation.
Because they have been uprooted from their normal activities in home countries. Away from their support system, they need our help to help themselves.
Whoever, wherever, whenever, everyone has a right to seek safety was the global theme for World Refugee Day. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Uganda Human Rights Commission has condemned the increasing cases of human rights violation between the Congolese refugees and host communities at Bunagana in Kisoro district. According to the Human Rights Officer Teopista Twembi, the refugees who have refused to go to the transit camp in Nyakabande are reportedly living in poor conditions, having no food, shelter and other basic needs. Twembi urged government authorities to transfer the refugees to gazetted areas before possible disease outbreaks and destruction of natural resources around Bunagana area in Kisoro.
Country Uganda for welcoming these people and hosting them, but surely if we look at the human rights concerns, there is a lot that needs to be done. First of all, I've seen all these people are here, children, men and women, but where they are being received from, we need a lot to be done. People are congested here at the reception center. I think Bunagana around the primary school. So many people are around here with no food, with no water, with no beddings, with no space, with no pit latrines. Actually, I have visited Bunagana primary school where I have found that these people cross over to use the toilets of the primary school, and right now they are full, and people have decided now to defecate in the open space. And for us as a commission, this is a threat because we are going to get health issues, because we are likely to get so many diseases, including cholera. So I appeal to the district leaders maybe to come on ground and see what.
The National Curriculum Development Center has continued to engage different stakeholders in the education sector to improve on a new curriculum for secondary education level. Interfacing with representatives from over 30 universities and tertiary institutions, Deputy Director NCDC Christopher Muganga said there is need to train learners contra constructivism, a method of learning by skills.
Here today, as part of the series of activities we are having in the process of reviewing curriculum, this time around we are trying to look at what is happening with the A-level, some people call it higher education in Uganda. How is it now and what is lacking in it, and how do we go around with what is lacking in it. Using constructivism as a method of learning, that is learning by skills, learning by doing, and learning by reasoning why you are doing something for a purpose. So yet the A level, which is current, it is again in cognitive, in the old system of narration, reading about and writing essays. So we have now to make a continuation of how these learners, when they come to senior 4 and graduate, how do they continue so that their learning is at least synchronized and we don't create that gap.
So far, this study we have conducted shows that there is a lot that needs to be done to align the lower secondary curriculum with the A level. That's number one. Number two, the stakeholders have informed us that they want practical skills to be a very big component of this new curriculum. So they want people who are hands-on, who are practical, who are problem solvers. So this is one of the issues that will be addressed because it has already been identified as a gap.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasaja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAID, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Molt Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves. High-flying saves. Unbelievable goals. Out of this world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Amabara gange ninyo Kawagawo Pamela amananu gali banzara masindi baitu nyikara Kagoma Maganjo so nkabandao nyikaliye ninkore byange at home nyara a landline number calling ya MTN so bunyakwasire nkajya kolona ngamanze Zahara Toto I'm calling you from MTN ohangwire motoka I just said kali not believing asikiriza nti dala kitufu yangambo singwire motoka abagyagaruka mba kuterere so I'm so happy thank you MTN banange it is real byamananu si byafere
Show them waka with MTN Mama Nyabo. Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
missing.
Is there a problem?
Honey, relax. There'll be no more worries about SMSs, phone calls, sijui data, because Daddy has got an Airtel smart plan. There is even Airtel TV.
It means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans. Shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay.
Thank you so much for watching. Now, from a distance, hilly and mountainous areas present beautiful and attractive landscape. However, these areas are hard to navigate and to reach due to the valleys and gorges created by water runoffs from the mountains top. Construction of footbridges is therefore very essential for easy movement in these areas.
izi nkino zikwiriye bano bategetsi bo hejuru igomba ryaragerageje rizana ibiti birananirana bigendaga birabora.
Nyarusa sub-county is an area located on the slopes of Muhavura mountain ranges in Kisoro district that projects beauty and splendor from a distance. However, residents in this area are not comfortable with the landscape that is characterized by valleys, gorges, rocks and rivers that dot the area, making it inaccessible and hard to reach.
Abana batoya bagiye gitenderi natwe abantu bakuru tukanyuraho twikoreye imyaka ababoda boda wabaha nk'ibyo kwikora bavuye mu murima bakanyura ariko nta handi hantu ho wanyura.
The access roads with wooden bridges are a danger to travelers and communities, including tourists checking on the mountain gorillas that habituate the area. These bridges that connect villages are often washed away by water runoffs, leading to loss of life and property.
Zimeze nabi cyane ziri mu mbera mbi. Ubwana buri kuva ku ishuri bwasanga amazi gari gutemba ukabura aho kunyura. Turugusaba government ejo bundi MP wacu yagezeho aratubwira ngo agiye gukora ibyo bwakabaga bwose kugira ngo izi ntindo zikore.
Over 30 bridges were recently washed away during heavy rains that disrupted movements between villages separated by gorges and valleys.
When we receive floods in the country, they sometimes wash away some of the bridges that have been completed, and that puts our job sometimes like we get back to the drawing board.
Nyarusa sub-county is characterized by a volcanic rough surface with steep ridges and near impassable gorges created by water runoffs from the mountain top. Residents in this southern part of Kisoro now believe that with a just red budget, these bridges connecting village paths and community roads will be repaired for residents' comfort.
Aza endindo nyine mantino ngamuka izitakoziti zone tukagamba nataboneka tukatambuza tukabatwarayo kubayikayo nabakagirana bati binesende barabitwara bukuru.
So this year about 4 trillion has been put to support the Ministry of Works and Transport. About 4 trillion.
Nyarusiza is located on the slopes of Muhabura, Mugahinga, and Sabinyo mountain peaks, neighboring the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda.
Men say now the soil is forming part of like humps on the. Really, so there is a problem of maintenance.
Improved footbridges have the potential to change the fortunes of this highly fertile and renowned food basket of Kisoro district that produces Irish potatoes, wheat, sorghum, peas, beans, and millet among other crops.
Ibintu birababaje. Ururutindo. Mana murudukoreye. Mana twashima Imana. Abantu babiri bose bamanje gupfa. Mana mudukorera urutindo.
Nyarusiza is a tourism hub and a cash cow for Kisoro, Uganda's most southwestern district, renowned for the endangered mountain gorillas and mountain hiking.
So I stopped and called my people in Euro and say, who is?
Habimana Deo brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for being wherever you are to watch. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with the whole team here. Wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
Southeasterly winds continue to affect the country's weather today. Welcome to tonight's weather report. My name is Molen Kenyana. Let's start it off with our 24-hour report. According to available data, we did have rainfall across Gulu. That was a total of 21.4 millimeters. We also had 4.3 that was across Jinja. Now, looking at our satellite analysis, we still have those moist southeasterly winds, like I mentioned earlier, that are pushing in towards the country. At the same time, we also have an advection of the Congo air mass together with the local effects from Lake Victoria. That is a combination that is bringing us most of the rainy conditions, especially the ones we saw today across several areas within the country. Now, tomorrow morning, we are forecasting isolated showers. Those will be across the central part of Lake Victoria Basin. Now, that will be all the way across parts of Midwestern Uganda, as well as areas within the central north. But elsewhere in the country, we will maintain intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Now, later in the afternoon, we will see more rains developing across the Lake Victoria Basin, all the way towards areas within the central part of the country. And that system will be continuing towards West Nile, as well as the central part of northern Uganda. But elsewhere in the country, we shall maintain a mix of clouds and sunshine. Now, in terms of temperatures, we will see a maximum of 27. That will be across Kampala. Jinja will be at 28. And we're forecasting quite a warm day for Karamoja. Temperatures will be rising up to 30 degrees centigrade. And also cold weather is forecast for Kampala Highlands. We'll see a maximum of 25 degrees centigrade. Elsewhere across the world, we are forecasting rainy conditions. That will be across Johannesburg as well as London. And for Johannesburg, quite warm weather. We'll see temperatures rising up to 36. Also, cloudy weather is forecast for Nairobi, and also sunny conditions that will be across New York as well as Dubai. But quite hot weather for Dubai. Temperatures will be rising up to 41 degrees centigrade. That will be for tomorrow. Now, that is all we have for you for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Molen Kenyana. Have a blessed night.